Slack and he Major welcome you to the My Type of Hype podcast, where we celebrate hip-hop, not just the hype.
How y'all feel out there?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the My Type of Hype podcast with me, your boy Slack in the building, as always, my co-hosts extraordinaire. What's going on, fellas?
Yes. We're here. My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip hop and not just the hype. Slack's in the house, he Majors in the house. Putter, what are you saying, brother?
What's going on? So I'm like that guest that won't leave at the end of the night. So it's Potter, aka Reggie McWorthy, aka MC Appropriation. Like, I'm here. I'm ready to go.
That's it, man. Slack, today's episode is off of a tweet that you put out there, man. So walk us through it, man. What are we talking about today?
Oh yeah, all right, cool. So I noticed that Jadakiss had said that he was asked about the trends in hip-hop. I think it was him and his son that was in an interview, and he was asked, like, what do you consider to be the worst trend in hip-hop? And his answer was drill music. Totally agree with him. And his son said auto-tune. And so I thought, that would be a good idea. So I just hit up here and I said, maybe an idea for the next episode, if we talk about the trends in hip hop that we really didn't care for too much. So yeah, man, we can roll with this.
This is a funny one. I don't know how you man got with this, but I had to kind of stop because I was getting excited. Even my missus was like, what? I was telling her what I was doing, and she started throwing in some ideas as well. I was like, let's get it in, so it should be funny. Who wants to kick us off then?
You go first, bro.
Yeah?
You'll turn it.
All right.
The hip hop version of what grinds my gears.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. There you go. Exactly that. So like I said, I got a few, but first one I'm going to go with is anyone who's followed the podcast and watched any episodes and probably heard me say it before, but it's got to be probably my biggest one, man. And it's sex skits in hip hop albums. I don't know. I'm glad that trend has phased out, because I'm going to say that shadow of a doubt, man. I despise them. Always have, always will. Like, there are some brilliant albums that are nearly ruined because of the sex skits. And people may think, why are you making such a big deal of it? And I have a problem with sex. I like sex as much as the next individual. But listen, when I'm listening to my hip hop, I don't need to hear that. Come on, blasting through your speaker. I'll never, ever forget the time when I was listening to Chronic. And my stepdad was like, "Right, this sounds good, isn't it?" Because, you know, obviously he's of a certain age, isn't it? And he's thinking, yeah, like the samples and everything, it sounds good. And he was like, "Who is this?" I was like, it's called Dr. Dre, the Chronic. So he was like, let me listen to it. And he had it on loudspeaker, and then the doctor's surgery or whatever bit come on, didn't it? That is always going to be a memory that I laugh at, man. It's just, you know, Biggie, obviously, they're just always out of place. They never work for me. They never help the flow of the album. I have no idea what they're trying to achieve. Like, what are you trying to show us? Okay, like, it's just, I've just always hated them, man, and I just think they're no point. They ruin albums, man. Absolutely hate them, man. And one last thing as well, I hate when, like, they have those kind of skits and they're attached onto the track. So it's like you have to think through it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I love when people put skits as individual tracks and you can just skip it. But when they're attached onto, I just hate them, man. Set skits and hip hop, I hate them. And I'm glad it's not a thing that we really hear now. So that's a trend I despise, man. I had to throw that one out there first, man.
No, you know what? I agree with you, man, but in the defense of the artist, I would probably not that I'm defending them, but I'm just saying, like, an alternative perspective, let's say, is how young were they when they were making these records, man? A lot of them were proper young. They're out there, they're partying every day, they're messing around with a hell of a lot of women, they're seeing fame, money, all this kind of stuff. So that's their way of saying, I'm getting multiple women, blah blah blah. I get it. When as you get older, it ain't appealing at all, like, to be hearing that stuff. And like you said, it interrupts the flows of the album because it has nothing to do with
There's
the
no
next
place for
song.
it.
It's just thrown in there. Even on the Dog Pound album, there's like what always held that album back slightly for me was If We All Fuck,
Yeah.
and what was the other song? Bomb
Bummer.
Pussy song, and I was just, they kind of threw them songs together, and I was like, it doesn't fit with the rest of the album. Like it's and even if it comes on today, I don't really want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? Like I'll skip past them tunes. Like the rest is cool, but those particular songs, then skits in general. Honestly, like if an album drops today and it's got skip 14 seconds, I'm just gonna go to the first track. I don't need to hear someone just talking random shit. Like I don't need to hear that because how is that going to help my experience of the album? Like a lot of times they're just saying something random, or it's a clip from an old TV show, or it's a clip from a wrestling match years ago, or something like that. Like I don't understand how that helps me understand what the first song's about selling drugs. Like what has that got to do with the clip that you just put up? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's almost like they just shoehorn some shit in. Like with Redman and Luda, like they had like funny skits, and sometimes but sometimes those didn't fit. Like when Redman had the dude robbing everyone on the plane and shit.
Yeah,
and I was like, that shit's hilarious. The first time you hear it, I'm like, that's funny.
Exactly.
How many times can I find that funny? Do you know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't know. I think there's an art to making skits though, but with the sex,
I'll tell you what though, bro. Like you said though, if the skit, you rightly said it, what's it adding to it? I'm not really a big skit fan anyway. Like you said, you listen to it the first time, it's done. Two albums that come to mind for me where I think the skits are like perfect. The Rue ones work as well, but perfect for me is Skinny Man's Counsel, The State of Mind. Like those movie clips, the skits, they just add so much to the album. I think it just is perfect. Probably some of the best skits I've heard on the album. It works. And the other one is Spice One's album from earlier this year with Sway, just talking about the impact that Spice One had on the culture and everything like that. For me, I ain't gonna lie, I feel like I learned. Huh?
Spice One dropped an album this year.
Yeah, bro, a couple of months ago, I was picking it up on the timeline, probably about.
Shit!
What we in?
I think it was like July, August.
Yeah,
like
summertime.
I don't know how I missed that one. That's bad on me, man.
It's so good, man. It's got tons of skits on it, like probably after every song, maybe. But it's Sway, and he's talking about the backstory of West Coast hip hop and what Spice One added to it. And it's like it adds to the whole experience of the album. Do you know what I mean? That's one album that I'm like, you know what, these skits are perfect, man. So yeah, there are two that come to mind. But yeah, I hear you, man. The skits got to add to it, man. And skits add nothing to it.
I got to get to that Spice One album. That one went right by me. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, it's heavy, bro. Like it's proper decent. I like it a lot.
All right, cool.
All
right, man. Potter, what you saying, bro?
I mean, I've got a list. I'll start with a nice, easy one, I guess. Like there was a period, like a while ago, years ago, remember when Channel U first started?
Yeah.
And it was like all of them, and almost every single guy on it was rapping in an American accent.
Oh yeah.
That really, really pissed me off because I was still doing my music around that time. Not that I was trying to blow up or anything, but and it was just annoying to me that like we'd had a bunch of UK rap like that was dope when you had like Black Twang and Skinny Man and Jest and Kalishnikov and Terra Firma. They was all doing their own thing and they had their own vibe. And then it was like, I guess it was kind of like an older version of like our like mumble rap. All of these like new grime cats came out. Some of them was dope. And then like they had their own like I guess avenue to kind of put videos together and do that sort of stuff with Channel U. But they all rapped in American accents and were rapping about stuff that is not anything to do with where they're from, what they're up to and stuff. They're just trying to emulate gangster rappers. And I was like, I don't even understand. You've got this whole like lane for yourselves to be in, to create your own thing, to create your own type of music, and to really talk about, you know, what you're about, where you're from, your end. And then they just weren't doing that. And it was like champagne money and women yayo, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I know they're shooting this video in Brixton. Like, I know you don't talk like that. So and I was unreasonably angry with the UK rap scene.
It happens now today. Like a lot of these UK rappers be saying the N words in their songs, and I'm like, that's never been a vernacular. That's never been a vernacular for us. Like, we never like address people like that. So when I hear it, that's what puts me off. Like Little Sim's music a lot. She says that shit a lot, and it just puts me off. I'm like, I know how you grew up. My son was best friends with her best friend from back in the day. So I know that that's not how she came up talking. You know what I mean? And we don't address it. We don't address people like that. Among our friendship group, we never talk like that. You know what I mean? So, hearing people talk is just weird, but I understand why the earlier artists did that, because a lot of their management would say, there's no audience for your shit here. In order for you to blow up, you've got to go to the States. So if you remember, like a lot, like SAS, a lot of them, man, they all went out to the right. Yeah. So in order for them to Estelle and all them kind of people, because Estelle was rapping before she started doing the R&B shit. A lot of them people, like, they moved to the States in order for them to break their careers. So in order for them to engage with the US audience, they had to change up the way they speak, because even to today, Americans are like, I don't want to hear no English people rapping. And I get it, you know what I mean? It's not a case of it's just different. And the regions, like even in America, the East Coast, as we said many times, a lot of the East Coast, they don't want to hear nothing from the West, and they don't want to hear nothing from the South. A lot of it is very regional.
I do understand from that point of view, but it's like, if you look at other countries in Europe where like hip hop is massive, like France and Holland and Belgium, even Germany, I guess, like they've all got their own sound. Like, you know, French rap is fine. I can't understand. But do they?
Because I don't speak German, so I don't know what they're actually saying. I can just tell how it sounds, but I don't know if they're putting an accent on, because I don't converse. Like, I don't converse with Germans to know what their vernacular sounds like, you know what I mean? Or MC Solar, like, what was he actually saying in his shit?
You know what I mean? French rap is fire. So
I mean, it sounds. What are they saying? Like, we don't really know. You know what I mean?
So, I was just like, I was a real purist back then. Like, I think obviously, you know, me and you had just met back then, Slap, and like, you know, I was really, really, really deep in it, and I was like, isn't this just about, you're meant to keep it real, you're meant to be true to yourself. That's what hip hop is about. You're meant to present your message. And I just didn't feel that anyone was really doing that, to be honest. And like,
it's been for such years.
Yeah.
It's been like CB4 when it came out. Initially, it was a comedy. It ain't until later on,
real life.
This is what's actually been happening. Like, this is a parody of what actually happens. You have that manager who tells you, you've got to do this. You got to pretend you just come out of jail. You got to pretend that you sell crack. You mess around with all these women. And then the Roots came out, 96, with What They Do in that video. The champagne ain't real. The car was rented. The house ain't ours. And it was like, wow, they were shining the light and saying, look, man, none of this shit is real. It's all fake. So
yeah, man. But and that's what I was saying, they've got to be real. But that whole UK American accent, I've said it before, and this is no disrespect to the UK. I love who we are, what we do, what we've achieved, but I've always probably just levitated more to American hip hop. That's just how I came up, what I was into. Do I listen to UK hip hop? Yeah, but I listen to a lot more American hip hop. And there's words and sayings and different things that cross over that we will use that are more American than UK, definitely. But for me, if you're rapping how you don't talk, if you're using words that you don't use in your everyday language, then you're being fake. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it really boils down to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, for real.
But yeah, no, it's a good shout, good pick. So what you got, Cross?
All right. Well, my pick, boring one for my first pick, but it's just a fact, bro. Auto tune has to.
Yeah,
Like, I'm sick to death of that shit. Like, I've never
be
liked
away,
it.
man. Be away.
It's ruined so many songs for me. And I can go back to the Conway album, from King to a God, right? The song that he's got with
Days
Dej
Loaf.
Loaf,
Bro,
bro.
I know
That
exactly
song,
the one you're talking about.
that
The
song
beat's
started
hard
off
though.
so crazy, like, and when I saw
Yeah.
him do it live, when I saw him perform that song live, bangs, 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 hard. Maybe when I got back in the car on the way home, I put that shit on immediately. I was like, this is a banger. As soon as Dej Loaf comes in, I cut that shit off because
Yeah.
it just doesn't fit the song. It sounds out of place, and I don't understand why so many people just went for that because it was popular. So even before Kanye did it with 808s, I think T-Pain was doing his thing, but T-Pain wasn't rapping. He was doing,
Yeah.
and
he can sing though.
I
So
was just going to
that's
say
different.
exactly.
Yeah.
T-Pain can actually sing. Like he doesn't need auto-tune. That's the weird thing, but he made it work and he made it his.
Yeah. Shout out to
I'll give him
T-Pain.
that and be like, that's your USP. You know what I mean? That's your
Right.
unique selling point.
Yeah.
No one else is doing it like you do. Cool. Then everybody else started doing the exact same shit, and I'm like, what's going on? Like,
nah, it's horrible time.
As what I was just saying, isn't the whole idea of hip hop to be authentic and be yourself? But all the music that you're making is all auto-tune. You'll try to sound like, and you can't distinguish yourself if all of you are using the same product to make music. If all of you are doing auto-tune, how do I distinguish you between whoever else?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a horrible fad, man. I think it's lazy as well because that's kind of telling me like, what do you think your voice ain't good enough? Like Lil Wayne, for instance, your voice is annoying as is, and you're then gonna put auto-tune on top of that. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's just a horror. I've never liked it, man. And the death of auto-tune, I understand what Jay was trying to do, but I knew it wasn't going to work because I know. Do you remember when he said, "Oh, we're not doing sweaters no more. We're doing button-down shirts." Yeah, and I'm like, all right, man, whatever. But when he came out with that, I thought, okay, maybe people will listen to him. Clearly not, because this shit still goes on to today. DOA was what, 2009, around there.
Yeah, Blueprint 3, yeah.
Like Blueprint 3. So yeah, man, like horrible trend, and I want to kill it with fire, and I want to stab it when it's dead, and I want to shoot it when it's dead, and so it cannot come back. Bury it under concrete, and then put more concrete, and then put a bit more concrete, and then level it off. Put a bit more concrete on there. Get an exorcist. Let him do a little thing there. No coming back. That's it.
I'm getting that you don't like auto-tune too much.
I'm getting that feeling.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of on the fence a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. Haven't made my mind up.
Nah, but you're right. You're right, man. And yeah, it's important that we shout out T-Pain because, like you said, that was his thing. He could already sing, and I watched a documentary on him. And he was like, he heard Cher, I can never pronounce her name properly. Yeah, he heard her, and he was like, "Right, that's incredible." And he was trying to find it for ages because he wanted to create a sound and a style. He didn't want to lean on it and depend on it for everything. And we know he can sing to the point where some people act like, "Oh, I didn't know T-Pain could sing." He can sing. He just used it as his style. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like you said, it was just regurgitated, man, and everyone just ran with that, and it was a horrible time, man. Yeah, definitely, man. That was on my list too.
It's weird because like when vocoder, we love that, and then it's just
not everyone did it though, Potter. Not everyone did it. You know what I mean? Like you had Roger Troutman, and that was his thing, and that's why T-Pain, it was his thing. So you respect it and be like, that's your thing. Everybody else does it, and people that don't need it, people that can sing fine, people that can rap fine, they're still putting it on their songs or they're throwing it on their hooks. And I don't know, man. Sometimes I can't even hear like what Future. I don't understand what Future's even saying. Sometimes, like I honestly can't understand what he's saying in some of those verses.
You can't. See, I can't rate Future. That's the thing. I know me and you've had discussions on Future, and that's why when I hear people like say he's the most influential, one of the most influential, and this and that and that, I just don't see I don't know. I just can't. Like, I just think when I hear Future, I hear it's been done before. Like, I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah,
let's be real as well, bro. All influence ain't good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly that.
Some country leaders would have looked up to someone like Hitler and be like, "Yo, I like that dude. I like how he's going with these ideas." You know what I mean? Like, all influence ain't great. Sometimes I think I think the culture just needs to understand when to let certain shit go.
Let certain things go. Totally.
It had its period in flipping whenever it was, 2010, 11, whatever. We're in 2024 now, man. Like, let's have something like different. That's all.
What is that? I saw the other day that someone said there was to kill. Someone said to kill that Future's discography is better than Master Ace's.
I saw that.
MOB. I'm like, what the fuck?
Bro, and you're missing the most important part of that conversation. This brother was like, he was about our age. I'm sure he killed what his age was. Like, this weren't no 19-year-old.
Right.
It's like,
bro, what are you smoking?
Came up on the golden age.
He was dead serious too. I thought he was joking at first, and then I was like, "Nah, he ain't joking. He's dead serious with this."
He went in. He doubled and tripled down on that
opinion. That's crazy. I ain't even gonna be talking about music with him, so I'm fine.
There you go, man. I'm a strong believer in each to their own, but that's just crazy.
But,
you know what I
but
mean?
not that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nah, man. All right, my next one. I'm cheating with this one because it's two, but it's in one, yeah. And you'll see why. So the first part of it is not writing lyrics down, and the second part of it is not freestyling. So not writing lyrics and then writing lyrics. So not writing lyrics when you're meant to, and then writing lyrics when you're not meant to. That whole trend. I don't know if it was Jay-Z first. I can't say it was him, but I know Big J, definitely Jay-Z. I didn't even believe it at first. I ain't gonna lie, but there's just too many people that have said it. So they've been in the studio and different things to say Jay don't write. Do you know what I mean? Certain he'll go in there, lay tracks down, everything without a pen, just write them things down. That's cool. Now, if that's what he's gifted at doing, and we know Jay's one of the best lyrically, do you know what I mean? So if that's what he's gifted at doing, and it works for him, I applaud you. But somewhere down the line, everyone started trying to come off with this "I don't write" thing. And it's like, we can tell. We can tell for real, yeah. That's not a shock. We can tell you don't write. Look what you're talking. And that's different. Certain MCs that say they don't write, you'd never believe it. But certain MCs, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't write," and it's just like, nah, like, yeah, I can tell. So that's the first part of it, and the second part is where. Now, this is coming from. I'm sure most of hip hop fans have rapped or tried writing rhymes at some point. Now, this is coming from someone who used to write and rap and everything like that. Where did freestyle become a written throwaway verse? Like, when I came up, and I've had this discussion on the timeline so many times, when I came up, if you were told to freestyle and you wrote something that was written, you're getting laughed out of the room. You're getting laughed at. You ain't a true MC. I remember there used to be times when they used to say you can't even call yourself an MC if you can't freestyle. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm just saying that was the emphasis that was put on freestyle. Yeah. Where now it's like there's a trend now that this is a freestyle, this is a freestyle. Almost like I'd rather it just have a different name, because it's like it's not really freestyle, is it? You're not making it up. Freestyle for me is off the top of the head. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Making it up, pulling lines, whatever.
You can absolutely tell the difference between the two, because if you're truly freestyling, there will be some elements of like objects
messing up,
or
somebody's
wearing whatever. Like if they're talking about bricks and guns and
measurements,
you can tell that is. Yeah, you've prepared that shit.
Your crew's ad-libbing your bars like they know it. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, that's the one right there. You know what I was about to say. This is the one as well right here. Check this one.
Yeah.
Why are you rapping off your phone, bro? Like, what are you doing?
It's like if it's not in you enough, don't rap it yet. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to lay it down in the studio and you're using your phone because they're freshly written lyrics, I don't have a problem with that, because you're recording it to present. If you are freestyling and you've written something that's like, I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. This might be me, but it's just those little things.
No, it's not, man. It's not.
Do you know what I mean? It's
For
like,
me, in order for you to be good at something, there's this old written rule. You need to apply 10,000 hours in order for you to be good at something, right?
Do you know what I mean?
For you to consider yourself an expert at something, they say you have to apply 10,000 hours. Doesn't need to be 10,000 hours, but basically what they're saying is, in order for you to be good at something, you need to apply yourself. You need to practice. So I say to my sons all the time, if they've got an exam coming up or if they've got something coming up, my first thing is, whatever grade you get, I'm proud of you because I've seen the work that you put in. First of all,
there you go.
You come in from school, you go into your bedroom. I was talking to my son last night, and he's cramming for an exam. Like, you know what I mean? He's got his laptop, he's got his book, he's got his flipping post-it notes on his bookmarking. He's doing what he needs to do in order to pass. Right? These MCs now, they ain't putting in no work, bro, at all. Like they're not. As you said before, like when we was in school, the first thing. We're talking 13, 14 years old, right? There's someone who does the beat on the table, and then you go around the room and everyone does their shit.
Right.
It teaches you to think on your feet. Like I've always been good at thinking on my feet. In my jobs, I have to do a lot of public speaking. I speak to a whole big audience all the time. I don't always have a script. And even like on my first day at one joint, like my director was like, yo, I need you to say something about your team and blah, blah, blah. I hadn't prepared anything. I was talking to a room of like 150 people. I had to just get up there and speak for a minute without interruption. And if I did it, I got a bottle of wine. I got a bottle of wine because I was raised, well, not raised, but the music that I listen to and the freestyling element allows me to think on my feet. So if I need to ad lib or whatever it is that I need to do, I can do it. I don't think a lot of these rappers now can do that because they don't come up writing rhymes. They don't come up writing poetry. That's where a lot of people started. You're writing poems. You're writing about the shit that you see. You're writing about your emotions, how you feel about certain things, whatever it may be. I don't think a lot of these rappers have pens and pads now. I think they just say stuff because if you listen to what they're rapping about, they're just saying it in every verse. It's just the same thing, just said a different way. You know what I mean? So because there's no practice going into their art, like how can you not be proud of your craft? That's the bit that I don't understand. How are you not proud of what you're putting out there and you're saying you're putting your best foot forward? These people are just throwing whatever the fuck they want out there and just hoping that something will stick. So that's why I think it's dead, man. I don't think these kids are coming up learning how to freestyle, learning how to write a rap. I could write a rap in 10 minutes back in the day. Whatever it was.
Topical as well,
exactly that, bro. Like write a rap about. I remember our music teacher was like, he said to me, write a rap about. I can't remember what it was now. I remember him putting it out the window, write a rap about this or whatever, and I literally did.
Yeah,
and it was literally just me practicing. So I'll just be like, let me write a rap about a tree. Let me write a rap about a car, my favorite car, or something like that. It will help me stay on topic, and it will help me learn to use different words. So I'm looking in the dictionary, what word can I use instead of this, that kind of stuff. But I just don't think that happens now, bro. I really don't. Like the most
and I know
basic
there's some MCs, like there's some MCs I rate that I've heard some MCs blatantly say, I don't freestyle.
And that's
fine. And I don't. But that's fine, that's cool. But they're lyrical guys and it's because they write, that's fine. But there's some people that's just like, that whole thing for me, I just don't know, man.
If I remember rightly, DMX said, like, I'm sure it's in his book, that there's nothing he's ever freestyled. Every single rhyme he's ever spit, he's written down somewhere.
That's fine.
And he just memorized. He had like books and books and books and books and books, and he just memorized everything in it. But you got to respect it, man. His pen was good. And can't hate on that. I think some of this has got to do with, like, I can't remember
the time.
I swear some rapper said it the other day on Twitter or something. But the reason he thinks rap has been dumbed down, people ain't reading. Like,
Like,
they used to read proper books, like back when they were kids, like from school or whatever, and their worldview was much wider than young people today. Worldview.
You can tell though. You can tell, like, if you actually think about it, right? If we're listening to Nas at 14 years old, right? He was 19 or however old he was when he wrote that album, Illmatic, right? Listen to listen to the turns of phrases, listen to the words, listen to the metaphors, all that kind of stuff that he's throwing into his lyrics at that age. And we are digesting that at a very young age. So that makes us have to go and back and be like, oh, right.
Us,
right.
Mm-hmm.
But
you've got 19-year-olds now, and their worldview is like stacks of cash and Lambos.
That's it. And I see this in real time. Like kids will come to me and they'll be like, how do I do this? How do I get to this? I saw this on Instagram. How do I learn how to do this? I'm like, well, how do you think they did it? Mm-hmm. They had to put in the hours to be good at what they do. You can't just wake up, see it on Instagram and think, I want to do this tomorrow. Like that's not how it works. But that's the mentality that we've got now, man, unfortunately, among a lot of our youth. So it is what it is, man. It's symptomatic. But I think I'll wrap up by saying I think the whole idea of this was when we speak about hip hop being dumbed down and people try to say, nah, that's not true. Yes, that's blatantly obviously true. Because if you look at the music that we grew up on as kids compared to what we're listening to now, and I thought maybe it's because I'm older now. So maybe if I was this age when I was listening to that kind of stuff when I was younger, but it's not that at all. Because if you
because we hear what our kids are listening to, because our kids are probably similar in age. So
a lot of 19-year-olds are spitting nonsense like that Afrocentric Asian half man.
Exactly. Like, where did you read this stuff, bro? You've read books, you've come up with this stuff. But I think education is a big issue, man. In general, just the way that kids are, like, they just can go onto ChatGPT now. You don't have to literally think for yourself anymore. Yeah, you know what I mean. You can literally go into ChatGPT, any AI program. I want to talk about this. Boom, 5 minutes, it's done. So this is where we're at. But Potter, what's next, man?
Maybe slightly controversial, but like rappers' clothing lines.
rappers doing what?
Rappers' clothing lines.
Like, so I can't hear you, bro. Say that again.
Clothing lines, bro.
Oh, clothing lines. Oh, I thought you said quoting lines. That's a funny one, bro. That's a funny one. Clothing lines.
I just feel like that just went way too far. Like at one point in time, like everybody had, like Nelly had a clothing line, for Christ's sake. Like, what are we doing with life when someone like Nelly has got a clothing line?
That's funny.
I didn't have that much beef with the clothing lines. There was some items where I was like, "Oh, never wear that." Like the G Unit muscle tops, stuff like that. It was a bit fruity for me. Like that. That's not my shit. Like, I'm not wearing G Unit muscle top, bro.
Like, the high cut vest ones.
It's just
had 3 of them.
Wow, that's funny.
But then you got some decent labels like Fat Farm. I think there's some good shit like back in the day.
Fat Farm is sick,
I like Fat Farm because there was sort of like they bridge a gap between like hip hop acceptable clothing and like you could wear it to a function.
High end, right?
So that was okay, but like then everybody just started getting in on it. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did own a fair amount of it, but like Rockaware, most of their stuff was white. Sean John.
Never had Sean John in my life.
Never had anything Sean John.
I had a double denim Sean John set that I burnt. Like Vocal, like everybody was bringing up. Didn't it? I'm sure Outkast had a clothing line at some point, like as well. Like, and they got more garish.
Cool, but
more garish and more terrible. Like, who's even wearing these things? Like outside of a video shoot, where are you wearing any of this shit? It's terrible,
bro. For real, I had more tracksuit, bro. I had an Academics. I had 2 of them.
Academics, I think they're something sick. That I ain't even gonna lie. I liked my tracksuits, man.
Bro, that whole shit was. I had LRG and Academics and Lot 29. You guys remember
Lot 29? Yeah.
Bugs Bunny, Daffy.
Lot 29.
Like, I'm not so much like the hip hop brands. Like Academics was cool. Like Echo was all right up to a point.
Echo,
Like,
but you mean like the rappers, actual rappers
that because Jay-Z had started Rockaware or Puff Daddy
Yeah, I see
started,
what you mean.
like everyone's
I think
like, well, I've
Memphis
got
Bleak
out
had-
now. And they just come out and they were super garish. Like you look like special needs wearing a lot of that stuff. Like, yeah, it was just everywhere, man. And like, you know, when you got like, obviously I'm from like I'm not from the city, I'm from more countrified place, and you've got like white boys riding around with like vocal tops on with like do-rags. I'm just like, you're just killing it for me, man. Like I've been slaving away for years in this game. Coming in with the latest Nelly tops, just fucking my shit up.
I kind of understand though, like the label's basically saying that in order for you to get more, it's like, look at what Jay-Z did. Like, we've got to do something to do. You know what I mean? And then Reebok will give 50 Cent a deal. Reebok gave Jay-Z a deal, I think, to do the S Carter line. Yeah, it was just one of them. Like, everyone just had something going on. But I think let me add on to that slightly. For me, the liquor lines, every rapper having a liquor line, I think is a bit crazy. It's like, yo, why can't you have a line of something positive? Like, why can't you have a line of books or like something positive? And if you do,
no one cares.
Then why don't we know about it? Right. All you care about is this guy's got a vodka line, or this guy's got a whiskey line, or what. Like, alcohol's killing our people, bro. Like, let's put our money into something that's a little bit more uplifting, positive. Like, I don't know. It's always been a thing. Like, why does every rapper have a liquor line? It was crazy to me.
But even E40's like a drinks mogul now, isn't he? Like, he's got yards and.
But he does everything, doesn't he? He does ice cream. He does all kinds of shit. Goon with a spoon, I think his ice cream is like, that's a great name for ice cream.
Of course it is.
But yeah, Snoop has got a liquor line. E40's got a liquor line. 50 Cent has got multiple liquors. Puffy had them. Jay-Z's got some shit.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of
And Bun B got something as well. I think Bun B's got one as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I know he does the burgers. I don't know if he's got a liquor line. I'm not
you know
sure.
what? I'm thinking of the burgers. My bad. I'm thinking of the burgers. Trill burgers, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I agree with that. It's one of them, innit? It's when things just get saturated. As soon as one person does something and it's successful, everybody else then has to jump on it.
It's just that they started out all right. Like, some of the stuff was like,
that's it,
and then they just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And just like, what are we doing? Like, just
yeah, I hear that, man. All right, my next one is, this really pisses me off. Producers put up beats that sound like Alchemist, beats that sounds like Premier, beats that sound like Dr. Dre. Like, that was literally a no-go. You can't make beats that sound like anybody else. But now people sample snitch too. They're like, oh, that's the sample from blah blah blah. Bro, shut the fuck. We don't care. We don't want to know where this comes from. And I think the whole sampling isn't a trend. Sampling is like the framework of what hip hop was built on. So I wouldn't call it a trend as such. But what I'd say is, the way that a lot of producers are sampling now, you're not sampling. You're just taking a portion of the music and you're just putting some trap drums over it and calling it a beat. Like, that's not producing to me. And I hear like people saying, oh, I don't see what was so special about Dilla. Well, I'm like, well, I can't talk about your ear, but all I can say is, when I hear a Dilla beat and I'm listening to what he's done with that sample, he hasn't just taken a sample that everybody's used a million times. So he took Footsteps in the Dark, right, by the Isley Brothers. That's been used 100 million times by various different producers all over for multiple years. He made a beat out of that same sample that sounds nothing like anything that anybody else has done with it. Only him and a couple of others that I can say actually do that. They take the sample, they strip it all the way back and say, I can use this part of that, I can use this little part of that, and I could put it together and I could flip it around and twist it and make it sound different. But now it's literally just an interpolation. It's not, you're not sampling and flipping it anymore to make something totally new. You're just literally doing what Puffy did and being like, let's take hits from the 80s and make it sound so crazy 10 years later than when it came out. And just having the audacity as a producer to say, my beats sound like another producer's beats. Like, what
Yeah,
are
that's
you
mad.
doing? That's totally
Why would
against.
you want to do that anyway?
That's how you're marketing
Because they're
yourself. I
jumping
got
on
beats that
the
sound
trend,
like
innit?
this guy. I
Could
got
you
beats that
imagine?
sound like this guy.
Imagine when Alchemist was first started producing, and he's gone, "Oh, my shit sounds just like DJ Muggs." Like,
Yeah.
who's gonna buy that? Who's gonna get him on the track? Like, no one.
Nowadays,
The whole thing
they're
is
like,
to
oh
be
yeah,
original.
brilliant. They're like, oh,
Everyone.
it sounds like that. Cool, come with it. Like, you would never hear another producer. Primo. If you hear a Primo song, you know Primo did it. You could tell by the scratches, you could tell by the beats, the drums. You can just tell that's a Primo beat. A Dr. Dre beat, you could tell by the way that like the way that he sequences his beats, and I don't know what it is, but his shit just always sounds so crisp, like clean, all the way back from '92. Like, that shit still sounds crazy to this day. So you can tell, like, those like mega elite producers, you can tell their sound. They have a sound. I don't think there's many new producers that have a sound. Like, you've got Nicholas Craven, or whatever he calls himself, who just literally flipping loop and says, go and rap over that, and calls himself a producer. Like, I ain't got time for that shit, man. I'm sorry, I don't respect that at all.
Bro. I'm not saying much because you're bringing me nicely into my next choice. So carry on.
Oh, I'm good. I've got it off my chest.
Well, you know what, bro? My one is almost back to back with yours, man. You're talking about you. You started speaking about Nicholas Craven and that. Like, one of my ones is Drumless Beats, man. Like, seriously, that trend for me. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's none I like. Of course there is. Like, you know, you think of like EPMD, you know, please listen to my demo or whatever. When it's done right, it's done. It sounds brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But there's just something now, exactly like the name of the episode. It's just become a trend now. So everyone is just, like you said, just throwing on a loop, no drums, here's a beat. And you listen, it takes a certain type of MC to rap well over drumless beats and it sound good. Right. You see what I'm saying? Not just every rapper can do it. And for me, if I hear drumless now, I may be able to stomach a track or two. But nah, man, all this drumless beats that I come, give me drums, man. And someone said one time that I'm a hip hop snob because I don't appreciate drumless. Like, I don't mind. I'll be a snob then because, nah, man, I want to be able to butt my head, man. I want to feel it. You see what I'm saying? You're talking about Dilla. Shout out to Kill as well. I remember Kill was saying that because Kill produces beats as well. That's why Dilla's his GOAT, because someone like me who never attempted to produce, but appreciate production, obviously, but have never attempted to produce, there's things that Dilla will do that will go right over my head. So I'm just listening to it as, yeah, that's a sick beat or whatever. When Kill hears it as a producer, he sees things and hears things that were done that blows his mind that the casual listener would miss. So you're talking about Dilla, but one thing I'll say about Dilla, you feel his music. Like, his music has soul. You see what I'm saying? It's like it comes alive. But drumless, I don't care. No drumless music has soul to me. Like, just like, I just can't feel it, man. And it's a trend now for me that is boring. And then you're gonna try and put someone like Larry June and different, what's his name? There's someone in particular that always raps over a lot of Alchemist beats of late. What's his name, man? Gone. But there's like newer MCs as well that have got quite a monotone, boring flow anyway.
Jay Worthy guy? Jay Worthy?
Nah, I can't. It's gone from me. But I'm just like, nah, the combination's terrible. The only drumless production that I really, really enjoyed was, and not all of it, but not all of it was drumless, I mean, was Stove God, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Reasonable Doubt. That's an incredible album, and a lot of that is drumless. I don't have any problems with that. Don't know why, but it just works.
But that's carried by his charisma. Like, his charisma.
That's what I mean. It takes a certain type of
he didn't even need a feature on that whole album. Like, he just took that whole shit. It wasn't until he finished, you're like, yo, he did this whole shit on his own.
Yeah,
he didn't have nobody helping.
Exactly.
And it's kind of fitting that Rock Marcy did the beats, because for me, Rock Marcy is like the guy when it comes to drumless beats, because his style is that, and the way that he raps over them and the stuff that he says, it sets him apart from everyone else. That, and it's almost like everybody heard that and thought, that shit is sick. Let me try it.
is what I mean. I'm not a big
There's only
Marcy
one.
fan.
There's only one Marcy, and I think the closest to him, I would say, will be Stove in rapping over drumless beats. Like, because they have the charisma, they can say like the craziest shit and make it sound so dope over these drumless beats. Not everyone has that charisma. Not everyone can carry those beats. So yeah, I totally agree, man.
They had was it Apollo Brown and the Planet Asia album?
And
I was, you know, I love Apollo Brown, as you know, and I love Planet Asia. And I was just like, what is this? There's like not one beat on here at all. It's just the whole thing was.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it, if I'm honest. I didn't enjoy it that much.
I was so disappointed. Like two of my favorites.
I like that shit. I think Planet Asia did a great
job. It's
not
not terrible.
Actually, and I enjoyed they were kind of drumless.
Yeah.
What?
And Apollo's my, you know, probably top 5 for me at the moment. Like his production is incredible. I love Apollo Brown. I've said it a number of times. Like I love it. But I'm just not a huge fan of drumless. If I hear the drumless and I'm like, yeah, this work, I'm not against it. You know what I mean? If I hear it and I really like it, cool. I like it. If it's dope, it's dope. But just the trend, there's just so much that comes out. There's so much hip hop that just comes out that's drumless. And for me, it's just this, I'll listen through it, but there's just no desire to go back. And that's what happened with me with the Asia and the Asia project for me. It's just, it was cool, but I had no desire to go back to it.
No need to revisit it, I guess so.
No, I listen to that shit. I love that shit. Like Planet Asia, he's another dude that's got the charisma. Like he can just say the most dope shit and it just sounds dope. And I think he's got the voice to carry it too. But I think there's a lot of rappers who are just monotone and it just, if your style of rap is boring and then you go over drumless, boring beats, then it's not gonna work. I think you need to have those little lines that we can say, what did he just say? Or the way that he'll say certain stuff. Like Rock Marcy had a line where he's chatting about, I'll shoot you in your meniscus and all this, and it's like rappers they're not specific. He goes very specific in his shit, or he's just like, your shoes is overused, like something as basic as that. It's just like it's like you're just looking at this dude, like, look at you, man, like your shoes are overused. My shit is imported from Italy. Like he's just a different level. So I think certain rappers can carry that off, but I agree, man. Is slightly annoying. What you got next?
And I think that's why I've never really got into Marcy that much, because a lot of his stuff's drumless, so it's hard for me to give it a lot of play. Do you know what I mean?
That dude is super.
It's weird. It's
super cold. I love Marcy.
Yeah. All right. I was gonna go like sort of the SoundCloud mumble rappers like thing, but we kind of sort of covered that with auto tune, I guess. But so for me, like a recent trend that really pisses me off is fans defending rappers like those rappers are paying their rent for them. Like, just like
Stan culture.
When we was, you know, we've all got our favorites. Like your top 5 is different to mine, and Slack's top 5 is different to both of ours, probably. But you can have a discussion about it. It's like a normal discussion.
Right.
Say, I like Jay-Z because of X, Y, and Z. You got all of these reasons, whatever. And all of these people are just weirdos. They're like the living embodiment of the Eminem song Stan. And they're just, all they want to do is just like, it's just weirdly defending people. Like, I mean, maybe Drake fans are the worst. Eminem fans might be, I don't know. But they just, if you say anything negative, like about their favorite, then you've got like a whole like legion of people coming for you. Like I'm sure your mentions have blown up more than once about something you said about Aubrey or Eminem or Nicki Minaj.
The difference is I don't give a fuck. Like there's nothing 100%. Any fan is gonna tell me to change my mind, make me delete a tweet, make me, you know what I mean? Like if that's what I think, there ain't nothing you can tell me that's gonna change my mind.
Yeah.
And the more that you cry about it, the funnier I find it. Because if I say something, this is the thing that kills me the most, right? my demeanor is extremely laid back, as both of you know. Like, I don't get swayed by bullshit. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? If you say something on a screen that I can look away from, I can carry on with my life. They say stuff like, "Oh, you're mad, you're angry." I'm like, I'm the complete opposite.
really
I'm
not.
laughing at how stupid you are. It's that ridiculous. Like, you're jumping out of the window to defend someone who you've never met in your life, doesn't give a shit
Doesn't know
about
you exist.
doesn't know you even exist. You're talking about you want to fight people, you want to do all this kind of shit because they don't like the same thing as you. Like, there's something very wrong, like cognitively wrong with you, if that is your thought pattern. Like, you can't disagree with someone and be like, all right, I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, he likes people I don't like. Have we ever fallen out? No. Because we just talk to fucking adults and say, you like something, I like something, and that's the end of it. But the way
Fat Joe.
Carry on. It's adults.
I was waiting for it. I knew it.
If it's kids, I get it, right? Because they're dumb.
Yeah. These are grown people.
Like, you've got grown adults who pay bills and have children carrying on like this. Like, I'll never understand.
Getting like mega upset because you said that Drake isn't very good, or that Eminem hasn't had a good album out since 2003 or whatever, which is true. Like, but why are you so pressed about it? Why are you literally taking this much time out of your day? I
find it so funny.
I remember.
I'm massive into the whole psychology shit, man. So for me, seeing the way that people react to words on the screen sometimes, let me just put a disclaimer out there on the My Type Hype podcast for today. Nothing any of you ever say to me on Twitter will ever ruin my day, piss me off, like upset me. I will laugh at you and find you ridiculous for the shit that you're saying because you're defending some rapper. Let me just put that out there right now. I will laugh at my screen at how dumb you are. That's it. Sorry, carry on.
What's that? You know what makes me laugh though, bro? I see some of the not even arguments, but I see some people trying to come at you over artists over stuff that you said. And it's funny because you're a fan of that artist, but they don't even know you'll talk shit about everyone. Like, you'll talk shit about your favorite. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I see them getting upset, like, you're not a fan. And I'm laughing because I'm like, you don't even know Slack. Like, he loves that artist. He likes them a lot, but it's like, they just don't get it. You know what I mean? It's like, I remember one time someone said to me, someone asked me who my GOAT was, and I said Jay. And they were shocked by it because they was like, how come I never see you on the timeline, like, dying on the Jay-Z hill and all that rubbish? I'm like, because he's my GOAT. I don't care if he's yours or not. Like, it don't bother me. I'm not going to lose any sleep who your favorite is. You know what I'm saying?
This is the difference, though. Like what Potter was just saying. Like, we can have our favorites. Like, Redman was my favorite for a very long time. Biggie was my favorite for a long time. If they drop something that's whack, then how does it hurt me? That's not good.
Exactly.
I don't understand. But if they if someone I don't like drops something that's dope, I'll be like, rah, okay. I wasn't expecting that. That was dope.
Exactly.
If Drake, I can't stand Drake, right? If he dropped an album tomorrow that was fire, I'll give that boy all the props. No problem whatsoever.
With that album.
I don't do the loyalty shit. Like, the only thing that I pledge allegiance to is the good stuff. Like, if it's dope, give it to me. If it's not, keep it. That's it. Whoever it is.
But the wild excuses that some of them come up with, like J. Cole, one of them. Look, I like J. Cole. I think he's bang average, but he's all right. He's not too bad.
Yeah.
But then you say something like that, and then you've got these weirdos coming out of the woodwork being like, oh, you're not intelligent enough to break his bars down. Like, motherfucker,
he's not intelligent himself.
You're trying to tell me I can decipher a Dizzer 16 and I can't understand J. Cole.
Exactly. That's the bit that gets me. It's the assumptions. It's like, because you don't like this, that means this. And it's like, no, I don't like it because I don't like it. That's it. I don't have to give you a reason as to why it doesn't resonate with me. End of discussion. And that could be someone I really like.
When he's doing mathematical equations in his bars, and you're honestly telling me,
and you're trying to tell me I don't understand J. Cole getting a boner in English class. Like, come on, man, let's be serious. Like, I'm not like J. Cole himself. He said he doesn't read, so why am I going to take his bars as like some high level? He doesn't do the high level shit, but I understand what it is with Cole, right? Number one, and let's keep it very real. He's light skinned. He doesn't talk about drugs and guns
That's what it is,
and all that kind of stuff. So people look at him as, oh, he doesn't talk about drugs, so he's a nice safe option. He's not dark skinned, and he doesn't walk around with guns, and he hasn't got this scary looking crew. So I can play him around my parents, no problem. So therefore, he's great. He's the GOAT. No, that's not how it goes, man. Like, that's not how it works. Just because you feel he's accessible to you, that doesn't mean that he's the greatest.
He's not even top 5 in his own state. That's
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say
I don't
that.
know. Let's see.
I'd say he's absolutely not the best because Fonte wipes the floor with him. Absolutely, no question.
For the same things that Cole gets bucks for, Fonte does. Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, he sold 1 million with no features. Yeah, he signed to Rock Nation. If Fonte was signed to Rock Nation or whatever he's doing, maybe he'd do the same kind of numbers because he's way better at everything than what J. Cole is. So, like, let's say Big Crit, for instance, right? Big Crit, for me, raps better than Cole, makes better beats than Cole, makes better albums than Cole. No one talks about him, though. So when people say Cole's top 5, I'm like, so does he rap better than Royce the 5'9"? Does he rap better than Joel Ortiz? Does he rap better than John Connor? Like, I could go on and on and on. Like, these are people that don't drop albums regular. Can he rap better than them? Absolutely not. Can he rap better than Tupac? Can he rap better than Biggie? No. So all this top 5, top 10, it's ridiculous because he's nowhere near. But
can he rap better than Kendrick Lamar? No.
So
I'll take Cole over Kendrick though. For personal preference, I'll take Cole over Kendrick though.
Get out.
Really?
Yeah, get out. Yeah, I would, you know. That's what I was waiting for. I don't know, bro. I think personal preference. I'm not saying that he's better. For me though, I would go to listen to Cole before I listen to Kendrick.
That's fine. That's fair. That's totally valid.
Right. We can still be friends.
Kendrick, fine. I'll just put this on the table. Cole couldn't write Duckworth. That's what I'm going to say. Cole couldn't write $100 Cost.
Yeah.
Cole couldn't write Blackberry.
Mm.
Cole couldn't write.
You know what?
Always talks about how good he is at rapping and how many shits he takes on the toilet and how many bonus he gets in English class. Like, he doesn't say anything of substance, and the way people try and make it sound like he's so intelligent and he's not. Like, what does he say? Like, that's revolutionary. That's Public Enemy. Like, he simply doesn't. Kendrick has much more substance in his music, and his writing compared to Cole is the whole other level. Cole is a basic level MC. He's not. There's nothing he's ever said where I'm like, rah, Cole, you're going crazy. Like, it's almost like people hear the flow that he's using and think, oh, that's immediately dope. But what is he actually saying? That Johnny P's Caddy, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave it. That Johnny P's Caddy that everyone was losing their shit over, creaming in their pants about. I'm like, let me actually listen to what he's saying. Sparks flying, da-da-da-da-da. Okay. What was special about that verse? Benny's verse, for me, was way better than Cole's. Like, Benny was actually saying some shit on his verse. Benny has hung with Black Thought on a track with no problem. I haven't seen J. Cole do that personally, but that's just me. That's my
argument. No, I hear you, and that's the thing. I think Cole is a good MC. There's no doubt about it. For me, I think he's a good MC.
He's not great. He's nowhere near great.
The props he gets. But let's say this: if this was 15 years ago, would he be getting 20 years ago? Would he be getting put up in this spot now? He wouldn't be.
No.
But you can pull MC
is Big Three, which is the weakest Big Three ever. We've gone from KRS, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie to flipping Drake, Kendrick, and Cole. Are you taking the piss?
Yeah. No, 100%. No. That's this discussion. I agree. That's what it is. But it's heroes and villains, isn't it? Cole can do no wrong now. But this is before he backed out of the beef. Cole could do no wrong.
Yeah.
So he only has to say the simplest of lines, and people are going to get crazy excited about it. But I think it's the same.
What I was saying about the stupidness of fans, you've got people defending him for pulling out of a beef, which is like unheard of from our times. And they're going, you've got to understand, he's being the bigger man. He's being adult about it. He's showing you how to fuck off.
No.
That
backs up exactly what you said, because if this happened 20 years ago, there wouldn't be one person jumping up to try and defend that behavior, bro. Like, it wouldn't. If
Nas done that after Takeover, it would have been over.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Imagine Nas was like, I'm a bigger man than Jay-Z. I'm not going to respond. Yeah. People look at him way funny, like, bro, are you all right? Jay-Z just said a whole bunch of shit about you. You're meant to be the greatest, and you're not going to say nothing? That's you hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah. What I did say about that was that he should have thought about what he was doing. He let people get in his ear. He should have just not dropped that in the first place. If he didn't want to get involved, that's fine. Cool, that's your choice. But don't drop something and then back out of it. That's weak, man. He shouldn't have let people get in.
Doesn't that speak to him? Like, why you're not 19 years old? Like, why are you letting, you're a grown man with children.
Exactly.
Why are you letting other people get in your ear and go, and then you go, let me make a song. Oh no, let me take it back.
Yeah, no. It's out there. What we'll do though, because I'm just looking at the time, does anyone have like anyone that they want to throw out quickly before we wrap up?
I was just going to add on to what Potter said. Like, it's kind of in line with what he was saying, so it kind of tallied up quite nicely. So for me, it was using charts, billboards, Grammy nominations to measure how good an artist is. So let me just wrap this up in a nice bubble. Grammy nominations doesn't equal how good an artist is, because who decides who gets nominated? Who sits down and decides if the music was any good? It doesn't actually come down to if the music is any good. Let's be real. It comes down to popularity and who shook hands and who's paid to be at the event and all that kind of bullshit. Like, and when it comes to sales, it's not a case of this is great, let's buy it. It comes down to how much marketing budget that artist has, what demographic they appeal to. Do they appeal to the hood? Do they appeal to white America? Do they appeal globally? Like, there's a whole. Do they apply to kids? Can kids ride around to this music? Like, are the kids going to sit and buy a Benny album? No, because he's talking about crack and Pyrexes and how we grew up. Are they going to relate more to a J. Cole who doesn't talk about that? Yes, the common sense tells you J. Cole is going to sell more albums than a Benny because his content is more accessible for a wider range of people. It doesn't mean he raps better. It's a very simple equation. So I don't understand how we've still got adults talking about, but this person's got X amount of hits or X amount of number ones. It doesn't matter. Like, Ja Rule hits. Have you ever seen an MC now requested to get Ja Rule on feature on their album? Oh wait.
Right.
You had
no, bro. I literally tweeted that about that this week,
when was the last time you heard a rapper say, or anybody say, oh man, I can't wait until Ja Rule drops a new album? He ain't dropped an album since 2005, 2006, around there, something around there, right? Have you ever heard someone say, man, I wish Ja Rule would come back with an album? No, because he's a shit rapper. Like, simple. He's done. He had his moment, and it appealed to kids. It appealed to a wide demographic of who were kids at the time, who grew up to it, so they enjoy it to this day. Okay, cool, whatever. But don't try to tell me he's great, because it's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's nostalgia.
The whole thing, it doesn't make sense, bro. Like, if you break it down, go into the mechanics of marketing budgets, labels and managers and all of the producers, the access you've got to different producers, the access you've got to different features and all that kind of stuff, that all goes into sales. It's not just a case of you rap well, so everyone's going to buy your shit. It's such a dumb argument. Like, it doesn't make sense. So,
bro, I literally tweeted that this week. I literally tweeted that recently. The same thing. Like, it doesn't. Like, it means a lot of people have bought your music. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
And the thing, you know what? The thing I used to always say about that as well is that maybe not so much now, but if we're looking at back in the day as well, a while ago, do you know how many albums I've bought that I've ended up not liking? But that's still a sale.
Right.
It's still a sale.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just because it's sold a certain amount, don't mean everyone liked it.
My phone right now, right? And I go onto Spotify and I press blah blah blah. That's a stream. Whether or not I finished the song, whether I liked it, I didn't like it. And then if I tell my friends, my cousins, whoever, my family, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I listened to this song. Then they go, oh, let me stream it too. That's another stream. Does it mean that it was good? No. So I don't know. But yeah, that's my bugbear, man.
Case in point, wasn't Joe Budden was getting clown the other week because was it Pump It Up just gone gold finally. MC Hammer sold 50 million records. Like, you honestly telling me MC Hammer can rap better than Joe Budden?
Truthfully,
there
that's
you go.
gold.
Exactly. Yeah.
For it. But yeah, I totally agree. MC Hammer been a really great because of the amount of albums they sold, the amount of tours that they did. They had action figures. They had all sorts of stuff going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my last one.
Yeah. Two really quick ones. I promise you. One was Oversaturation, and I'm not even going to go into that because we've done a whole episode on that. Too much music.
Oh, like 10 albums in the year, that kind of shit.
Yeah, it's too much, man. Sorry. Even as a fan, I don't want an album from you every 2 months. Like it's like let me digest. You know what I mean? Because what happens is, and I know you're great at what me and you spoke about, Slap, when he was talking about getting to things when you get to it. That's all good. But the only thing about that, if you are a fan of something and it dropped, you want to check it out. And what happens for me is that you miss things. You know what I mean? Or you don't spend enough time with it. Do you know how much of Flea Lord's old stuff I've gone back to? And I've been like, I forgot how sick this was, you know? It's because he's dropped like 1,000 albums after that. Do you know what I'm saying? So Oversaturation, and another one was Artwork, man. Like, why don't people put their like album titles on artworks no more? It's just some weird picture, and then that's the album. It's like, put some effort into your artwork, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just
song titles too. Song titles that mean absolutely nothing, or there's no hook. There'll be a song called and I'm like, okay,
that's a good
but
one.
there's no hook. So if I want to go back to that song, what's gonna make me remember it? Like I've got to literally go through and be like, what number was it? Was it number 8? Was it number 7? No. One more. I'll add one more. Sequels. Let's stop the sequels, bro. Let's get that shit. I don't need album title number 6, number 7 in the series. Like, we don't need all that shit, man. Let's do some more original shit, man.
Come up with another album title. How difficult can it be?
People trying to, and they always do it on the classics. Like AZ didn't do a Pieces of Man 2, he'll do a Do or Die 2. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so immediately, I know we shouldn't do this, but immediately we're comparing it to the original. I don't want Redman to drop a Muddy Waters 2 because it ain't going to be Muddy Waters. I'm excited that it's another Redman project, but I'm immediately going to compare it. Like, the one for me, and I'm not just trying to mention his name, but the one for me that's funny is Fat Joe, because he done Jealous One's Envy, which we know is sick. And then he done Jealous One Still Envy. It's like, okay, then he done Jealous One Still Envy 2. It's like, bro, just do another album, man. It's like, it's too much. Like, the sequel thing, I agree, man. Just fresh title, fresh album, whatever. You're setting yourself up because people are immediately going to compare. They're not going to say, oh, let me buy it because it's called 2. They're just the only one that worked, Raekwon.
Cuban Links 2.
Yeah.
Cuban Links. That was dope. But
that might be the best sequel or something.
Muddy Waters, it's coming up for 30 years since Muddy Waters came out, right? You're never gonna recapture the feeling of that album 30 years later. Whatever you do, you don't rap the same, you don't sound the same. Eric Sermon ain't making the same kind of beats.
Right.
It's not going to be anywhere near that. It's going to be a totally different sound.
Yeah.
So why would you put that pressure on yourself? I know he wishes he never said nothing about making a Muddy Waters 2. I know he does because
he would keep doing it.
Yeah, I agree, man. But we're getting the Snoop and Dre kind of sequel to Doggy Style in what 2-3 weeks or whatever. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe.
Maybe, but even that, you know, I listen to things for just listening to it. I don't need it to be Doggy Style. I don't need it to be. I'm just listening to it for something new. I'm just more excited about, because someone asked me on the timeline when I tweeted it. It was like, "Do you think Snoop can still deliver like that?" I don't rate Snoop lyrically like that. To be honest with you, after Doggy Style, I never ever rated Snoop lyrically like that. You know what I mean? But he still can make decent music, and Drake can still produce. So I'm just excited as a hip hop fan.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they bring. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm quite interested because it might be like Snoop might be rapping about his side quests, so like talking about dressage and fencing.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to hear. I don't know if I want to hear Snoop rapping
for the Olympics and that.
Martha Stewart and flipping dressage, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, man. But no, man, this was fun. I think we should maybe revisit this one at some point in the future.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sure that we could probably add a load more on. But yeah. So if everyone's added their little two pence worth, we can check out for this week. Thank you to everyone, as always, for checking us out, rocking with us, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that good stuff. And I know we could probably be a little bit more consistent with, when we drop our shit, but we're working on it. We're going to be there, man. But thank you for always rocking with us, man. Much respect. So for me, as always, signing off, your boy Slack in the building and my co-hosts extraordinaires.
Yes. My type of hype, the podcast that celebrates hip hop and not just the hype. So until next week, peace from me, Potter. As always, you want to sign us out, bro?
Yeah, thank you very much again for bringing me in. So I'm getting to like this. Make sure you keep tuning in. We're going to be dropping one a week up until the end of the year. So yeah, tune in.
Yeah, man, exactly that. All right, man.
Next
Peace.
one.
Have a good one. We'll catch you next week, man.